The following video was recorded at the Birchip Cropping Group's Sheep Management Showcase, held at Birchip Leisure Centre on August 17, 2016. Please note the views expressed in this video do not necessarily reflect the views of Birchip Cropping Group. Catherine James from the VFF. Catherine's representing Livestock Health Biosecurity Victoria and VFF. And Leonard Vallance, the VFF Livestock President, is also here.
Hi, and really nice to be here today and see so many faces. I think that's fantastic. My name's Catherine James and I joined the VFF in end of April this year, so reasonably new. And I'm here today to talk about the Livestock Health and Biosecurity Victoria project, which is an initiative of the VFF's Livestock Group. So it's an industry-funded project that's delivered through the VFF, but it's actually funded by the Sheep, Cattle and Goat Compensation Funds. So anyone that sells cattle, sheep or goats has an investment in this project. And it's actually delivered to all livestock farmers right across Victoria. So regardless of whether you're a VFF member, this project is targeted at you. So obviously animal health and biosecurity is probably not as interesting as some of the other topics that are on the agenda here today. But I'd like everyone to remember that complacency is the biggest risk when it comes to biosecurity. And what are we actually talking about when we mention biosecurity? Well, we're looking at preventing and managing the risks of diseases, pests and weeds coming into your property or spreading those to neighbouring properties, which might affect not just your production and your bottom line, but also that of your region. So I think some of the topics we might talk about, in the future is protecting your livestock, things like Johne's disease, lamb survival and lice. Not things people like to talk about in public, but I think we're going to start doing a lot more of that and help everyone along the way. The other really important aspect with some of the biosecurity stuff and animal health is around people, protecting your people. So things like Q fever is part of this overall disease management stuff. So you've got to think about yourself, you've got to think about your workers, even your family when they're helping out with lambing and things like that, and potentially visitors that come onto your property. So there's a couple of angles here that we deliver in this project. So what do we actually do? Well, we deliver events right across the state, or they could be events or workshops. We get in specialist people to talk about the topics that are relevant to the region. So we want your input about what you want to hear about in your area. So come and talk to us over at the stand. We've got Mick McCarthy here as well from the membership team, so come and say g'day. We've got a Twitter account, so go ahead and follow us. We deliver information through social media and fact sheets as well as newsletter articles. So we also want to be a point of contact. So if you've got any questions, you can give us a buzz and we can help you find the answers there. So anything to do with animal health, welfare or biosecurity, please keep us in mind. We're here to help. So some of the projects we've been involved with are the National Sheep Health Monitoring Project, which you'll hear more about later today, sheep health statements, and regional biosecurity areas. I know you guys are actually based, or most of you might be based in the Northwest Victoria Regional Biosecurity Area, which relates to Johne's disease and your ability to trade to certain areas and interstate. So I think that's it from me. I'm going to hand over to Leonard Vallance now, who's the new Livestock Group President of the VFF.
Thanks, Catherine. For the first time ever, we've got a Mallee wheat and livestock owner, great owner and breeder, who is the chairman of the VFF Livestock Group now. That would never have happened years ago. So it's interesting how things change over the years. How many VFF members have we got in the room? Put your hand up. Good. So the blokes that aren't members, why do you think the other guys are members? Would it be because truck registrations, the VFF negotiates on your behalf, and not a B double truck? How many blokes have got a B double in the room? There'll be a couple. That's $10,000 we give you for the rego, because you get a farm registration on your truck. Now you can wind that back to your tray truck or your buggy drive tray truck, but that's the sort of saving we give you for your membership. Tractor registrations are the same, and if we weren't there, you would be paying full commercial rate on all of your tractors. You would be paying commercial rates on all the gear you tow behind your tractors down the road, and have all the other roadworthies and everything on top of that. Then there's the fuel rebate that we get for you. Whatever that is at the moment, I'm not quite sure, but I guarantee that someone can sit there and tell me how many $1,000s a year they save with the fuel rebate instead of paying road tax on their fuel. Cattle tags. In Queensland, cattle farmers pay $3.40 a tag or thereabouts for a cattle tag. In Victoria, you pay under $1. That's the VFF working for you to provide that discount in price of tags. Now, we have a target this coming year of 40 cents a tag for sheep RFID tags. We will do that through a tender process in combination with the Department of Agriculture, and that will bring the cost of those RFID tags down to the common visual tag price that it is now. So there's a further saving. If someone's adding all this up, I think the $500 or $600 membership fee you pay to the VFF is pretty cheap. Next question I'd like to ask is, who in this room is member of an internationally recognised quality assurance program? Anybody? No one. Who's got an NVD book? Hands up. Guess what? You're all part of it. That's done by the VFF and the peak councils on your behalf. Now, it's administered by MLA and AusMeat, but it is put there by the VFF, Sheep Meats Council of Australia and the Cattle Council of Australia. They develop the programs and they put it there for you so that you have market access with the beef in over 40 countries around the world, and I'm not sure how many countries we export sheep to these days, but that's another thing that you have, so that you have market access for the product that you want to produce now, and so that's where we're up to. R&D. Now, Tim's currently the chairman of SAMRAC. I was Tim's predecessor a couple of chairs back. I was the third chairman of SABRAC, as it was known in those days. The first two chairs lasted a meeting each. And then the guy before me, a guy from West Australia, said, "You'll be right with this one." Sort it out, really. So I stayed there as chair for 6 years, developed the More Beef from Pastures project with MLA, which then came into growing more pasture for sheep book, the most successful program that's ever been produced by MLA. The last time I heard, the More Beef from Pastures had sold over 10,000 copies. The R&D is the basis of where you're going to get your increased productivity into the future. Now, the VFF and the peak councils, they okay and they examine the budgets for MLA annually to ensure that the corporate monster that MLA is sticks to the path of providing you with valuable research on your farms and marketing that is not wasted on unnecessary things in the industry. And so the VFF has a role there to ensure that your levy dollar is well spent on your behalf. And I take my hat off to Tim. He's obviously a very progressive farmer. I've never met Tim before. And he's engaging with all of the research results that have been put out for those programs over the years. And you can learn a lot off guys like him. So that's about that. Catherine, we got a photo? Now, I've got a couple of questions for you. On the left there, you've got a photograph, and on the right, you've got another one, 1962. Right, shearing shed in the Mallee, not far north of here. The header on the right is pretty much what was round in paddocks in 1962. Can we have the next one? There we go. The wool shed's still acceptable. The header's not. So why is that wool shed still acceptable to you today as a means of harvesting the crop off the sheep? I think you really need to have a look at yourselves, because if you're all going to go back into sheep the way you think you're going to, you haven't got the shearers to do it, and you haven't got the infrastructure to do it. And you need the R&D dollars spent to develop means of shearing sheep efficiently, where young men do not break their bodies in half working their guts out for you. It needs to change. And you need to get engaged with the R&D through the VFF in particular, and through organisations such as SAMRAC, to push the issue so that you actually get some improvement in the way you harvest your crop.
Thank you very much for that, Catherine and Leonard. And as I said, they've got a stand over there, so make sure you go and catch up with them.